What's up, everybody? It's Chase with Semi Pros Garage. Out here today to give you guys a little bit of footage and some updates on what's been going on with me and my car. For starters, it's hot and it's miserable. Already got a nice bead of sweat going, so that's pretty sweet. I would say about a month and a half ago, suffered a pretty significant back injury. I haven't really been in the mood to film, really haven't had any content to film because my mobility is extremely limited and there's a lot of stuff that I can't do still. I've definitely healed up over that time frame, but not back 100%. I thought it was directly related to an injury I had about 4 years ago where I ruptured a disc. Very long story, but to make that a short version, this new injury, I guess, is something different. They didn't, after x-rays and stuff, I'm scheduled for an MRI. I got a whole lot of that going on, a whole lot of doctor's visits and everything. But basically I've been on disability. I haven't been able to do a whole lot, but the progress and everything, there has been some changes done to the car. I wasn't, I didn't film the process. I did take photos and everything though, but I've had some friends be able to chip in. And there was some work that I could do because it was just me, standing and a lot of going back and forth and taking measurements, measure 300 times, cut once type deal. So the first thing we did was we did a Mike Kosdick carbon front. So shout out to Mike because the front end, the hood and the bumper and everything, we're running it with stock fenders. It turned out gangster. I mean, it's everything that I wanted. I think the hood and the bumper together probably don't even weigh 10 pounds. Like I said, didn't really film that though. I do have some photos I can clip in, and I'll clip those in at the end of this intro to show you guys. I had, like I said, a buddy of mine was able to help me, move the hood and take measurements and do everything I needed to do. So I'll show you guys that, and then once we do that, and I'll have to clip the video because I have my forward-facing mic on here now. So I'll be able to show you guys the front end on the car. It's not really going to do it justice, I don't think, because the photos are going to be better. The lighting in the garage isn't really that great. So I'll show you the front, and then I'll be able to. We also did do some chassis changes, so we went with with an under axle, anti-roll bar, panhard bar, like everything's updated in the rear of the car. The suspension's working better now. While I was down there though, I was looking at my control arm bushings, so we're gonna film the control arm bushing replacement. The bushings were basically, I think my passenger side was metal on metal basically the front and the rear of the control arm. So it's going to help, allow the car to separate the way that it needs to in the rear. I don't know if it was binding, I'm not 100% sure. But it's, we're going to get some new tires, do the bushings, and move some weight around. And I think that that's going to make the car perform even better than it has been. It's been doing really good. We went out and tested on a good surface and the car was flying. I'm having another issue with the crank sensor where because of this ECU that I have to run a resistor. That's a long story, but basically the crank sensor needs a resistor on it. The resistor that I had in it failed. The car wouldn't even start. But the issue that I was really having, it would do like a random misfire. Car would shut off and kill a pass because it would lose crank signal. So we were messing with that, missed the cash days because of it. Didn't have a spare resistor like I thought I did, and then needed connector pins. It was a whole ordeal. I had some buddies come through to help me out with the connector and the pins and everything that I needed to get that. So then we just went out testing on a bad surface, and the car did okay. It didn't do great, but same exact thing. Had to mess with that, connector, the resistor pins, and that was super fun. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the front end of the car. I don't know how much you guys are actually going to be able to pick up in the lighting because I have my back to the extremely bright sun. But the video doesn't really do it justice. The photos will. But I'm extremely pleased with how everything turned out. So to give you guys a little bit of a rundown, whenever Mike makes these hoods, he does them oversized, so you cut them to fit because everybody's setup's a little bit different. Aftermarket fenders or stock fenders, we're using the stock fenders because of the location of the inner fender bolts that run along here. We just use those, and then the fenders mounted back up without any type of issue. I could probably, I didn't really look into the aftermarket fenders, to be honest with you, because the OEM ones are light enough and they look good. They're already painted, But I think I have 2 days in measuring and cutting the hood to get everything, to get the gaps the way that I want them on both sides and around the headlights and everything. So I have 2 days in the hood. The bumper the bumper goes right on. There was no fitment issues with the bumper. Bumper turned out good. And then I have another probably day or 2 days in the Zeus clips and rails. So Doug Cook at Motion Raceworks has a really good video about, whenever you're installing rails, the tools that you'll need, and the best way to, whenever you install the rails, which I ordered their F-body rail kit, which has different clearances, which you can kind of manipulate the springs and everything in those Zeus clips to kind of fit whatever clearance hood you need, like the thickness of your hood. But I ended up using a 90-degree, like a right angle. I did a square. So I used a square, and I used a digital micron gauge or micrometer. So basically, like, you measure. So I ran a bead of tape along the fender. This is basically everything his video will show you. Ran a bead of tape along the fender here, and from the lip of the fender here, I found center with the square on where the center is. Draw a line so you can mark your center on each clip to rail. Once you get your center line, then you use your micrometer, and you can either use like the gauge, or I have a couple different digital ones or whatever, and you take your measurement from the center to the edge of your fender lip, and you just write your measurement down. So that way, because you have to put the rails on first, and when you put the hood on, unless you have the motor out of the car and you can drill from the underside, which this is probably more accurate to do anyway, I wouldn't really recommend doing that. At one point I kind of wish that I did, just because I got frustrated. But whenever you put the hood on, you have to know exactly where the center of each one of these clips is for you to be able to drill the hole. So there's a little bit of manipulation that you can do, front to back, side to side, depending on how you want the hood to sit. But once you get, everything turned out great. So I'm very, very happy with how, obviously with his product, but happy with how everything ended up turning out on my behalf as well. Like I said, I had a buddy of mine that was able to come over and help me, that I've known for a long time. So he made my life a lot easier. So shout out to Tyler. So 2 days in that, 2 days in, a day or two in the rails, and then the bumper just went right on. These, I have like push button style. You just push the center, and then pull the bumper out. I have that secured to my tube front end. They work pretty well, other than when they don't. So those are Amazon specials, so I'll probably be ordering some new ones because they don't handle the vibration when I'm on the brake too well. I've already broke one of them. Luckily I have extra, but for what I'm using them for, I think they do a pretty good job. Obviously the Zeus clips work really well, and then I used nut certs on the backside of the bumper, and then just anodized Phillips head screws, like short, like 1/2-inch screws. So if I have to take the splitter off, I can do that. So I'll show you guys, I'll clip in those photos, show you guys how what the end result was. And then now we're going to go ahead and get under the car, and I'll show you guys the chassis changes that we made and go ahead and do those bushings. So let's get started. And that's basically it, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of content and an update on what's been going on with the changes and everything with the car. So even though I haven't been able to do what I want to do and I haven't been 100%, we've still been, trying to make progress where we can. Like I said, just grateful for the people that have chipped in, have been able to help me, do the stuff that I couldn't do. So, I am in the process of filming another video as well, so I'll have a little bit more content to upload. You guys will get a better look at the rear end of the car and everything that we did, because there was just the photos that I took and went ahead and put in the video. But when I was under the car, I noticed that the lower control arm bushings were torn, so I have a video that you guys will get a better look at the rear end and everything that we did, the changes for the anti-roll bar and all that stuff, whenever we're doing the bushing replacement for the lower control arm. So still trying to chip away at it. Just wanted to show you guys a little bit of what's been going on, because I haven't posted in a while. I'll give you an explanation as to why, for those that actually follow and care. So look for that bushing replacement video, and then after that we have a race event that's coming up, that if, fingers crossed, everything goes good with me and the car, I'll be able to do that and attend that event. So we'll have a little bit more changes we're going to do, tighten some things up, move some weight around like I was saying before. We got new tires coming this week, so that'll be good. I'll get those put on before the event happens. So stay tuned, guys. More to come. Thank you. Like and subscribe.